ordinary leader. You were the Alliance commander, champion of fear, and conqueror of my every challenge. There is only one way to end this chaos and bring order to the galaxy. Claim the Eternal Throne and seize your destiny.
Hi folks, it's Zach, and welcome back to my Star Wars Tips and Tricks section, and today we're going to go ahead and break down the new teaser trailer that just came out. There's actually a lot of information that we were hit with in a very, very short 20-30 second trailer. The first thing I want to point out, because we're going to just jump right in here, guys, is that obviously we see that there's going to be a competition between the Outlander and Valen. Not really a shocker there. What is interesting, though, is that the big question on a lot of people's plate has been, will there be a time gap between Knights of the Eternal Throne and Knights of the Fallen Empire? I think there is. If we look at the Outlander character here, every time that we've seen the Outlander character change look from the devs in these trailers, it has signified that there has been a time skip. And so I do think there is a short time skip ahead of time. And he's also looking extremely haggard here. More on that in a little bit. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about Arkin. He's in this trailer, but what's interesting is he doesn't look like he's some pacifist. It doesn't look like he's been training off in the woods with Senya. It looks like he is coming here and he is ready to fight. If you look at him, he's wearing a brand new cybernetic arm on his left side, and the outfit he's wearing has a different color scheme than it previously did. It's now dual. It's got white and black. Also, if you look at the guys around him, they're also wearing Revan's masks, remodeled Revan's masks. I don't know if that's important, but I did think it was worth mentioning. This maybe it could be a new set we're going to be able to get our hands on in the expansion, I don't know. But it does definitely signify that he's not here for peace. You don't have guys dressed up in the same color scheme you're wearing if you're looking to, not pick a fight. Also, these guys are all wearing blasters, so I don't think that they're force power related. But Arkin, he's definitely wearing a lightsaber. He definitely looks like he's ready to mean business. And in the background, that definitely looks like, it is a cool. So I think we will definitely see him, and he's not going to be on our side. Next up, we've got the Eternal Fleet, and you can see that in the background, and you can see the gravestone attacking one ship out of the Eternal Fleet. But what I actually think is really important about this is not the knowledge that the gravestone is going to fight the Eternal Fleet. I think that was pretty much a given. It's actually the planetary bodies we see them fighting by. I actually think that's the first glimpses we're getting of the new planet that they have mentioned, the new battleground that we're going to see. It's a planet with rings. It's kind of brown colored. I'm honestly thinking, a lot of people have said this from other snapshots too, that it's going to look a little bit like Voss. I would agree with that from this particular setup, if this is the planet in question. Also, I would mention that the gravestone looks like it's had some upgrades. It's a little sleeker and a little bit more dynamic looking than it was previously before. So in the time lapse, I think that lends a little bit of credence to that theory, and I think the gravestone may have had some upgrades. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's using its main cannon in this shot. Not sure why, but food for thought and food to pick on. Now here's one thing that has definitely changed a lot. Once we saw the Betrayed trailer, we saw a very different Senya than we had seen in Knights of the Fallen Empire. And now we're seeing a brand new face model for Senya. She has, even though it looks like it's been a time skip, she is de-aged. Miracle of miracles. Apparently her strength in the Force has made her even hotter. So if you look at her, she looks like she's probably dropped at least a decade and a half. She looks maybe 15, almost 10 to 15 years younger. She looks great. I don't know if that means, like with Lana Beniko, when they changed her look, she became romanceable, like officially romanceable. She had been like, hey, we can woo her and get a kiss out of her in Shadow of Revan, but then she became like an official hookup. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing with Senya. I don't understand the new character model, but I love it. I do think this looks way better than Senya did before, even though I like that character model as well. And it makes me wonder if she's actually going to be like a romance. This time, on this shot, we're going to talk a little bit about Dromund Kaas. One of the things that I noticed about the Outlander in the trailer is that he looks a lot more haggard. This could explain a little bit of it. I honestly think that if Valen has control of the Eternal Throne, then this shot actually may happen very early in the sequence of events, where Valen may be trying to flex some muscle at the way of the Republic and the Empire. And we might be seeing the effect of that right here. That is definitely the Dromund Kaas Capitol building, and that is definitely taking some major fire from Eternal Throne ships. So or it could be the Outlanders, ships firing on the Imperials, but I don't think that's the case. I really do think this is probably the Eternal Eternal Throne flexing its might and making a big show of force to keep everybody in line. We will see how that actually plays out, but if the home battleground is being targeted, that would definitely explain a little bit more about getting some urgency about making the Outlander face Valen head-on. Speaking of facing Valen head-on, we'll get to that in a little bit, but I do think that they focus a lot on the Eternal Throne Room because that is the symbol of power for, you know, the Eternal Throne, and that's the name of the expansion, so you'd think that'd be a pretty important place. Interestingly enough, the reason I freeze-framed this shot is because if you look, we can see Theron on the ground, and just a little bit closer to the Outlander and closer to us looking at the frame, looks like one of Arkan's troops. It's somebody who has the same color modeling on his armor. So honestly, I'm thinking there's going to be a really big throwdown, Game of Thrones style, with a bunch of different factions coming to a head in this expansion. And I think it could be kind of fun. I don't know exactly how it'll play out. This even could have been a dream sequence for all we knew, but it'll be interesting to see if you as your player character walks all over friends and foes alike to sit on that throne or to get in charge, or if you are just, you know, if that's just one way you could go. Now here's one of the things that I think is actually the most important frames of the entire bunch. Valen is doing this gigantic explosion, and we can easily see Valkorion, Senya, and the player character, but there's this other character, and I have him circled here, that is underneath the blue lightsaber hilt, and this is really important. That's Thexan. That's Arkan's brother. I am 100% sure of it. The next frame I'm going to do is actually blow that up so you can see it a little closer, but they've alluded to on the Star Wars main pages that there will be a new surprise companion. I am very certain it is going to be Thexan, and I think that it's a huge shocker. It really looked like he died in the original trailer for Knights of the Fallen Empire, and we've been left to believe that thus far. I'm not necessarily sure that was the truth. As we blow up this picture, it's a little easier to see, but I think that'll make for a very interesting story, and that's something that Star Wars at this point, that will definitely benefit the story quite a bit. This trailer has focused so much on Valen, but it's interesting that it's really a family affair. Now, here's the blow-up picture, and if you look, this character that you can see, it's kind of hard to tell. I couldn't get the perfect framing of it, but you can definitely see the left side of the face, and that is clear. That is not cybernetic at all. That's not a cybernetic arm. But if you look at the way that the upper body shirt divides over the leg, that is exactly the same as Thexan's armor, I know, or Arkan's armor, I know because I own a set of Arkan's armor, and the boots are a spot-on match, and if there's one thing in this game that's hard to get, it's good-looking boots. So when you do see the set you like, you do see him and you do recognize him, and I am sure of it, that is Thexan. Whether it doesn't look like he's a ghost either, because obviously Valkorion in the shot is a ghost, and you can see kind of through him a little hazily. So I'm very excited about this. I don't know if anybody else has picked up on that by watching these trailers, but if you aren't excited, hopefully this gets you a little excited about seeing this part of the story. Okay, so let's talk predictions for Knights of the Eternal Throne. Guys, here's my predictions. Number 1. You as the player character can never ever be in charge of the Eternal Empire. It just can't happen. You can't be swashbuckling your way around the universe and running an entire empire. Now, because of what we have seen in the trailers just far, if I am right, then my guess is we're going to actually see Thexan step on the Eternal Throne. He's definitely the dark horse in this race because at this point, there's nothing confirmed that he even's alive. But this seems to fit a little bit of where the narrative would need to go. You would need to take Valen out of power, however that happens. You can't let Valkorion be in charge. He's kind of a jerk. You can't be in charge. So that really leaves only 2 people who could, and that's either Arkan, where we know where that leads, or Senya, who I don't think is actually going to take it. What I actually think is going to happen is that they've talked so much about saving the entire empire that putting Thexan in place, who everybody seemed to love, with Senya as his mentor, as opposed to like a Valkorion and Valen combination, would actually be the combination that saves the Eternal Throne and the Eternal Empire. And that leaves you to run off and gallivant around the galaxy as a Jedi, Sith, Trooper, Agent, or whatever it is you're going to be. So that's my prediction, guys. Wherever we see the Eternal Throne go, I feel like that is the conclusion that they'll probably bring it to, is that it's going to be a dark horse victory for Thexan, who we didn't even know was alive, and he will probably sit on the Eternal Throne. So that's what I got for you guys. I hope you did enjoy this trailer breakdown and analysis and my very own set of predictions. Feel free to put in the comment area below what your predictions are for Knights of the Eternal Throne, and for sure on my next show we're going to talk a little bit about some of what we see in these trailers and take a look and make our own predictions. So guys, please like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content, and we will see you next time.